Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Okay, now there'll be a class given by His Grace Suresh Prabhu.
Actually, you don't sing Jai Radha Madhava, do you? Okay. Hare Krishna. May have to turn the sound up. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming, Yash, Larry, and who are the new faces here? I guess I've never seen you before. What's your name, sir?
First time here. My name is Gopal Das.
Oh, nice to meet you guys. And your name, Mother? Huh? Ray. Oh, nice to meet you. Thank you guys for coming. I guess you're probably familiar. You're familiar with the Gita, obviously. We're going to be going over a Bhagavad Gita verse. It's an ancient text from India. So the specific one we'll be going over is verse 310. We'll display it on the screen here. So, Om, you guys can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, so reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 3, Text 10. We'll be reciting the Sanskrit. I'll just go word for word, I guess. Saha, Yagnaha, Prajaha, Shishtva, Uvacha, or Apura, Uvacha, Prajapatihi, Anena, Prashavidyavtvam, Eshaha, Vaha, Astu, Ishta, Kamaduk. Alrighty, let's see how we can do this here. Sahagnya, Yajna, Praja, Srishtva, Purovacha, Prajapatihi, Anena, Prashavishadvam, Eshavos, Shtwishtad Kamaduk, Sahajajna Praja Srishtva, Purovacha Prajapatihi, Anena Prashavishtvam, Eshavos, how do you say this? Eshavos Ishtakamaduk. All right, let's go to the crowd. Provacha Prajapati. Anena Prasavidashtadvam. Yeshavoshtakamaduk.
Sahayagnya Praja
Srishtva.
Rovacha Prajapatihi Anena Prasishyadvam
Yeshavoshtakamaduk. Sahajagna Praja Srishtva. Purovacha Prajapati. Anena Prasavishyadvam. Ishavodishtakamaduk. Okay. You guys want to try? I guess one of you can give it a shot. Whoever's got the courage to go for it. Just. Not this one. Purovacha Prajapati Adena Prashavishadvam Ishavo Chistakamaduk. Okay, word for word, Saha, along with Yajna, sacrifices, Prajaha, generations, Shishtwa, creating, Pura, anciently, Uvacha, said, Prajapatihi, the Lord of creatures, Anena, by this, Prashavishyadvam, be more and more prosperous. Eshaha, this, Vaha, your, Ashtu, let it be, Ishta, of all desirable things, Kamaduk, bestower. Translation and commentary given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna, sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." Purport: the material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu, or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation, as is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaschar Saveraham Eva Vedyaha. The Lord says that the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns, it is said, Patim Vishvashatmaishwaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, 2.4.20, Srila Shukadev Goswami describes the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Shriyaha Patir Yagya Pati Prajapatir, Diyam Patir Loka Patir Darapatihi, Patir Gatis Chanjaka Vishni Sattvatam, Prashidatam me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and He is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds, and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yagas, sacrifices, for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world, they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yoga, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yoga, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures, and this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan Yoga and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to the Sankirtan Yoga. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangashtra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtan Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yoga. Other yogas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not so easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yoga is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita also, 9.14. Oh my God, Nitinirandhasya Nanjana Shlakya Chakshur Nalitam Yenda Tasmai Shukadaveda Mahashi Shaitani Mano Abhishnam Sapitam Yena Bhutali Sarum Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaf Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagardatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prajna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Kurna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpade Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanshakapa Tarubiya Chakrapas and Ubiyavcha Patita Nam Pavanebio Vaishnavebio Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Buddha Shimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitanamani Namo Vishnu Padaya Buddha Shimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirvishesh Shunivadi Pashta Desh Tarni Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Okay. Would our guests like any water? I don't know if they placed out the waters, if you guys need anything. All right, so the verse is describing how in this age of Kali, the recommended form of sacrifice for the modern age is to chant the holy names of the Lord. And it's mentioned that this sacrifice will bring all auspiciousness, all happiness to all the living entities in the world. So I wanted to specifically talk about Srila Prabhupada's, so Srila Prabhupada is our founder acharya of this Krishna consciousness movement, and how one of his most important desires and contributions to the world is to establish these farm communities that are meant to give everyone a opportunity to engage in this Sankirtan movement, associate with devotees, and ultimately achieve liberation, go back to Godhead. So if you guys have any questions throughout the course of the class, you can write them down. We'll take them at the end. So let's see how this works. So ultimately, our association in this world determines who we are as a person. A lot of great thinkers, philosophers, and psychologists understand this principle that your environment has a lot to determine how you turn out. Whether that's your children, especially in an early age, how the children are grown up with their parents or their friends or their school, determines who you are. And so we develop certain qualities in our life. And so there's this verse in the Gita that kind of describes the good qualities that one should desire to have. So things such as fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, austerity, simplicity, nonviolence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, all these good things. So these are characteristics of the godly men who are endowed with divine nature, but often we see, due to this materialistic civilization we live in, although we're advancing materially, people are losing these divine qualities that were once, held in high esteem. And so the culture has a lot to do with that. Some may look at this movement as a Hindu movement or an Indian movement, but ultimately the core foundation of such a statement is that they understand that this culture has a lot to do with how one develops in this God consciousness. So then the opposite is given, and this more describes what the modern age, or at least living here in America, what I've experienced. People are, myself included, filled with pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. Krishna says these qualities belong to those of the demoniac nature. And then he further describes that the transcendental qualities previously stated are conducive for liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage in this material world. And this bondage, the analogy is given how one is chained by the modes of nature, the different, due to our association with material nature, and those also affected by the same modes of material nature, we become further bound as if our hands and our feet are tied together. And so in the proper association, we can become free of these not so great qualities that we don't want to have, and as the previous slide showed, how to develop these qualities that we do want. So this is the process of Krishna consciousness. And so, Prabhupada's farm communities that I'll talk about in the future, in a little bit, they encourage a more peaceful way of life that allows one to engage their propensity to serve. This propensity to serve is within all of us, whether it's serving our children, our family, our pets, or extended loved ones, our co-workers, whatever it may be. So taking this serving propensity and putting into something that will go into our eternal bank account and give us, eternal satisfaction by serving God. So I wanted to, after covering these kind of qualities that we don't want, and just talking about the hellish civilization, I wanted to show this one particular video that I thought was really interesting and And some of you have probably seen it. Oh my. Okay, so I don't know. I thought that was representing society that we live in. I don't know about you guys. So we're looking for happiness in these things, these temporary things, of course. Money, even Jesus said, is the root of all, the love for money is the root of all evil. This chasing of happiness, this cessation of distress for just a little bit of enjoyment in these material things. It's so when we associate with other rat-like people like this, we become animals ourselves. We develop the unwanted qualities, and we further bind ourselves in the material world, like Krishna had said earlier. And so, someone famous, you guys probably know, wait, not that one. How much money is enough money? Just $1. John D. Rockefeller looks kind of like a scary guy, but So this is kind of the mentality of the world at large. That we often, me and my friends growing up, we kind of had this thought process that we'd make a certain amount of money, we'd get to a certain stage in our life, and then we'd be able to just be satisfied. But on it, the seed of lust in the heart never is satisfied. The nature of this material world is that it's, and the nature of illusion and Maya is that it's always pulling one towards these undesirable activities and these undesirable objects. And so you develop over time a mentality like this, whether it's subtle or gross, it manifests in one. So we, taking the advice of Srila Prabhupada, one should learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is the most purifying. As devotees develop a loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. So I think we've had that experience in our lives. The friends we grew up with in elementary, we thought would be our friends forever. Then we developed new friends in middle school, new friends in high school, new friends in college. And ultimately, as we sit here today, we also have a new set of friends. So ultimately, these people around us have a big impact on our lifestyle. And as our desires change, whether we move to a new town, develop a new hobby, or this or that, so our atmosphere changes, and the people around us change as well. So this can have positive or negative effects, of course. But Prabhupada's making the point that when you associate with devotees, then naturally you'll lose taste for this material sense gratification, because once you get a higher taste, you no longer have a taste for these lower things, and you won't end up like the rats chasing sense gratification. And then oddly enough, there's another video I wanted to show, and it also happens to be about mouses, but I thought it was interesting as well.
And give it 2 water bottles. One is just water, and the other is water laced with either heroin or cocaine. If you do that, the rat will almost always prefer the drug water, and almost always kill itself quite quickly. In the 70s, Professor Alexander noticed that we're putting the rat in an empty cage. It's got nothing to do except use these drugs. Let's try something a bit different. So Professor Alexander built a cage that he calls Rat Park.
Rat Park.
Basically heaven for rats. They've got loads of cheese, they've got loads of coloured balls, they've got loads of tunnels. Crucially, they've got loads of friends. And they've got both the water bottles, the normal water and the drugged water. But here's the fascinating thing. In Rat Park, they don't like the drugged water. They almost never use it. None of them ever use it compulsively. None of them ever overdose. You go from almost 100% overdose when they're isolated to 0% overdose when they have happy and connected lives.
Yep. So clearly this goes to show this atmosphere has a big impact on our consciousness, even because in Krishna consciousness we understand all animals, all insects, bacteria, everything has some level of consciousness, although it may be covered over more. This human form of life, we have an advanced consciousness, but when we live in the lifestyle of animals, we also would develop an animalistic consciousness. And so there's really no difference. I mean, we can see that the rats, when they had a certain atmosphere, when they had an atmosphere that wasn't so blissful, they naturally turned to the drugged water and overdosed, killed themselves, because they're trying to find some happiness that they can't find within their environment. But when the rats were given a atmosphere that had more, it was called the Rat Park. And so when this Rat Park was built and they had a little bit more activities and stuff like that, they almost never took the drugged water. So, similarly in this human form of life, we're in an imperfectly created situation, created by the Lord Himself. This world is meant to be an imperfect situation because it's not our natural position. And when we have such a situation, just like these rats, we turn to the drugs and the TV and the different forms of sense gratification, searching for that happiness. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it's described that this happiness doesn't exist within these things, but it exists, this place we're looking for exists in devotional service to the Lord only. But just like, and this analogy is given by Prabhupada, that the animal's being sent to the slaughterhouse and still he's satisfied. Knowing he's going to be slaughtered, he's simply waiting to be slaughtered. So the animal goes, the cows go, and the animals are being slaughtered, everyone without spiritual consciousness, without Krishna consciousness. Being slaughtered by the laws of material nature, they don't know that. So he further explains that just like the goat sees his friend goat getting killed, yet he happily eats away on the grass. Similarly, we're also seeing death approaching everyone, yet we're not really analyzing our situation deep enough to realize that, this isn't the natural, simple, or godly way of life. We're searching for this kingdom of God, but without God. So now I'll present, the verse again that we read. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna, the sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." So in the Vedas describe there's 4 different yugas, because time is understood to be cyclical in the material world. So in the first phase of existence, we have Satya Yuga, which the recommended form of sacrifice is meditation on the Supersoul. Treta Yuga, we have fire sacrifice. Dwapara Yuga, which ended about 5,000 years ago, is recommended as deity worship. And then for the guests, what's the recommended form of sacrifice for the age of Kali? Okay, let's go. Kali Yuga, chanting the holy names. So this is actually also found in even the Bible, if anybody's read the Bible. So the Hebrews, through Jesus, therefore let us continually offer sacrifice of praise, the fruit of lips that openly profess his name, and do not forget to do good and share with others. With such sacrifices God is pleased. And in Romans, it said, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. So often when we explain the process of Krishna consciousness, you'll see that there are similarities within all religions. But the particular function of Krishna consciousness is that we're emphasizing this mode of sacrifice as what should be 24 hours a day a part of your life. Not that only part-time you do this, or maybe once in a while. And for most Christians, including myself, back in the day, I never read these verses, so I didn't know the importance of such a sacrifice. So, in this age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yoga, of course, everybody knows Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Awards won, all happiness. It's the yajna that brings happiness and satisfies the Lord. And most importantly, we're bringing satisfaction to the Lord. And that way we get happiness, just like when we give a gift to the child. The child is happy, and that makes us happy. So, but because in this age, like in the video before that I showed, this rat race, society puts you against the wall. You're always having to go, work, get on the subway, different things like that. So this time, Prabhupada says this time is so valuable that even if you pay 1,000,000 gold coins, you can't get back even a moment. So just imagine how much you're losing and how great you're a loser. So I'm a big loser. I wasted at least 22 years of my life before coming to Krishna consciousness. And we can see that even the richest people in the world, is described here, for even 1,000,000 gold coins can't buy a second on their deathbed. So originally I lived life in such a way that I wanted no regrets materially, and I tried to experience the world. But ultimately, I was being guided by illusion. And ultimately, when I came to this Krishna conscious process, I realized I can put that propensity to, spend my time wisely in the service of the Lord. But for most people, most people aren't in a position to move into the temple, whether they have families or different things like this. So what does 24 hours in a day look like when you're in the material when you're living in this society. So I've broken it down 24 hours in a day. So maybe eating and cooking takes longer. Definitely if you have to cook for yourself, which you should be cooking for yourself and offering it to Krishna, live that karma-free diet. So it's like 2 hours a day. I'm being like really generous here. Sleeping 8 hours, working 8 hours. That's probably generous too. Driving to work an hour in this Atlanta traffic, I'm going to have to bump that up. Hygiene, an hour. Maybe someone could save time if they don't do that. And then at least in Krishna consciousness, we should be chanting for 2 hours and reading for 2 hours. And so, wait, hold up. Let's do the math. So 16, 18, 19, 20. Okay, that's a full day. Then you're like maxed out. Like there's no time for social hour, nothing. Like you're finished. Like, so looks like you're pretty like slammed. So who's gonna like give 2 hours of chanting and reading? If you just have like you have your 4 hours left. I'm not like it's gonna be really difficult. Maybe like squeeze in 30 minutes of chanting. So Prabhupada has given us the solution. So let's see here. Prabhupada's solution is organizing farm communities. And so this is a quote by him. I'm organizing in regards to the farm communities in Europe and America, many farmlands, so that my devotees can live there peacefully, grow their own foodstuffs, produce cloth, and save time for chanting Hare Krishna. So if we go back to this previous slide, so automatically when you're in living in a farm community, your working hours are cut down because there's not really so much need to work. So you drop that down, maybe 4 hours. Driving out of work, you're literally at your work. So that's an hour off. You saved 5 hours there. So then you can use those 5 hours for other things. Automatically, your day just became so much more free. And then, as you also, I guess we could say, might as well say, the sleeping will probably get cut down too, because you'll be so fired up to like engage in the service of Krishna that you're going to cut down your sleeping. So, so we should live this simple, natural, and godly way of life. It's the original way we should live. Not that we came from cavemen, but that originally society was advanced spiritually, which mattered the most. But they didn't give so much importance to these material things, these nuts and bolts, these cars. Such a problem that, like we saw in the rat video also, the rat had a Ferrari or something, but the rat ended up in traffic, same traffic everybody else has to deal with. So, give a few solutions in the material world brings 99 problems. So it's like it's a give and take kind of thing, but you actually end up giving so much more because we're dealing in the material world, which is finite, and we want to go to the spiritual world, which is infinite. So, I'll show one last video. I have some time here. I wasn't sure if I'd have enough time, but bear with me here. This video I really like. So we visited this farm. We visited this farm in Hungary. Most people probably can't point Hungary out on a map, but it has one of our most significant farm communities in the Western world, and it's like really peaceful. And so I'll just show like a little bit about it. So this is kind of like what Prabhupada envisioned. This is one of our movement's farm communities, and it's been, I think, going since like the 1993 or something. So it's come a long way, such a short time. Yeah, I just want to say cows. Yeah, so obviously, like I'm watching this video and I'm realizing that, at every step in this world, we're like committing some sort of degrading act. Even just we were discussing, even like buying avocados, you're supporting like this cartel operation in Mexico where people are being killed over vegetables, and the cars we use is being, the oil and the gas is coming from fracking and all sorts of obstructive things to Mother Earth. And we walk outside, we're stepping on ants and bugs and all sorts of things. And there's just so much being just being, even if we try to be so-called non-violent, to there's like the philosophy, like I'm doing me, just I don't disturb anyone, I'm just doing me. But the thing is, like, no matter what we do, even the food we eat is like causing so much disturbance. So we're breaking this principle of living simple, natural, and godly by just not getting away from the problem as being part of the problem as well. So this Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai gave us like a solution to so many problems, but not only bringing us to the neutral platform, but the positive platform, that on these communities you can also interact with devotees on a daily basis. Your children don't have to go to school in Atlanta public schools. Anybody who's been through it, I've heard, is a powerful experience. And any school in general, even in these rural areas I grew up in, the indoctrination starts early on. So you're taught to think a certain way, act a certain way, and just to impress the opposite sex or to impress your boss or your peers or whoever it may be, you have to act in so many ways outside of your natural inclination. These children are very innocent. We all grew up very innocent and pure. And, we used to tell our parents that, I can't wait to grow up or something, be like you. And they said, no, I want to be like you. Enjoy your youth. Because once you get into your 20, earlier and earlier these days, but as you grow older, you become more jaded, bitter. You're not so social, and it's like a really impersonal society because everyone's trying to backstab you, whether it's boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, family. There's just so much going on in this world because there's just so much difficulties when you're in such a situation. So on the farm, there's so many activities you can do. Getting anybody to even just come to the Sunday program is a big task. You have to drive so far, you have to do this or that, maybe come once a week. It's not really ideal for your spiritual life. You can fortunately watch YouTube from home. But on the farm, every activity you do is directly engaged in the service of the Lord. So Prabhupada says, in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, it doesn't matter whether we're working, cooking, painting, writing, chanting, or whatever, they're all the same. There are no such distinctions on the higher and lower platform, of higher and lower on the transcendental platform. The important thing is that we are engaging our time and energy in the service of the Lord. After all, we are so tiny, what can we do? Krishna sees simply that this time is being spent in His service. So like going back to the other points was this time factor that we're always against the clock in this world, that we have to be somewhere, we have to be here, be there, but there's really no need for all of it. When we can grow our own food, we've already solved the number one problem of life. We all have to eat. So we're all taken care of if we have our own food. What's the big problem? And we can spend the rest of this time engaging in the service of the Lord. So, I sort of brought it up, but the children is especially a big thing. Have them raised in an atmosphere so they don't, we grew up in such an atmosphere that wasn't very conducive for spiritual life or even peace of mind in general. But we can give something better to our children. So we can do like that. I'll just end with a few quotes by Prabhupada. So he said, he ordered regarding to his Prabhupada's spiritual master, he ordered many of my god brothers and desired, even not ordered, he wanted. He sent some of my god brothers to foreign countries to spread, but in some way or the other, they were not very successful, and he was called back. So I thought, let me try in this old age. So my only desire was to satisfy the desire of the spiritual master. And now you have helped. And he's talking to his disciples. It is coming to be successful. And this is Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada. If we actually sincerely work under the direction of the spiritual master, that is the satisfaction of Krishna, and Krishna will help you in any way. And the most important quote is, something we can meditate upon, is that Prabhupada says, one day scholars will know how this movement saved the world at its darkest hour. So, unfortunately, our mission isn't really appreciated in the big circles of the world, scientists, the scholars, just the general public of Atlanta. I know everybody's shoulder to shoulder in this room. There's so many people here today. Not many people appreciate what's going on. So, we can try to fight against material nature in such a way for hundreds of years, and it may be hard to really get people to take this process up, but by establishing these farm communities, we can actually give people an opportunity to move to these farms and engage in service 24 hours a day. And in this way, the unemployed, those inquisitive of the absolute truth, those in distress, they'll all be given the opportunity and to serve the Lord in its purest form. So we can do so by, and I guess most people don't really understand even the emphasis on, taking a spiritual master. And coming to the Sunday program is one thing, and chanting Hare Krishna and doing like that. But, this taking of a spiritual master and, taking direction in our life, these kind of cultural things and these things, someone may be coming to the Sunday feast for many years and not, kind of like a twilight zone, never really get into the process in the fullest capacity. So we're actually, as a temple, going to be selling this property in the future and moving all of the devotees to the farm communities. So, this will be a good opportunity for all of you guys, those who are serious about taking up spiritual life, to also join this, whether you come to stay for good or you just come and get to help out. But it'll be there's not so much service you can do here, but on the farm there will be endless service. So all you nice souls can come and help serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. So that's I'll end my class there. If there's any questions, we can take them now. Yeah, we're looking for properties. This was the big reveal, and I don't know. We want it to be within this radius because Atlanta is a really good central location for at least the East Coast. So, if anybody sees anything pop up, you can please recommend it to us. That can be a form of service to keep your eyes peeled for anything. Mm-hmm.
So you covered all the negative so many negative things that we can see, especially like materially, that can happen in our situations.
Yeah.
You know? Like people trying to backstab you, or all these different obstacles we might come across just in material life. So what would you say to those who maybe they have what they would consider like an ideal living situation? Maybe they don't have to drive to work. They work from home.
Yeah.
They don't work 8 hours. They work 6. So they have like, say, quote unquote, a little bit more freedom. What would you
Yeah.
say is
That's
still perhaps like spiritually
Yeah.
not conducive in this situation?
That's a good point. Yeah. Maybe I'm a little pessimistic. But I would say generally with these things, as you mentioned, backstabbing or whatever it may be, getting fired from the job or whatever, I have an ideal situation now, but unless you have the right karma, it's not really a matter of if, but a matter of when something will come negative into your life, completely maybe transform your situation, or set you back mentally or spiritually or all these sorts of things. And this often happens to people and pushes them into anxiety or depression, suicide, whatever it may be. As we further stray away from these things, it's like the bigger you are, the harder you fall. So the further we get away from spiritual values of life, when something hits us, we don't have anything to fall back on. People are completely crushed, destroyed. Their whole kingdom, empire they had crumbles. Now, not everybody may experience that, but one thing is, Krishna will always be there in the form of death. So you can, even if your kingdom, your material situation is perfect throughout your life, at the time of death, the greatest pain will be having to lose it all at that time. So you may have a perfect situation, but up to that point, then you'll be on your deathbed with so many regrets, and wishing you could just buy one more second, like it was said. So, maybe it's said in some places that material problems can be an impetus for seeking out spiritual growth, and I would say probably a lot of us came in that way to Krishna consciousness, but doesn't have to be. One can be intelligent and just understand that, hey, understanding, studying the nature of the world, and intelligently decide what path is perfect for them, and stick to that path of religiosity, because we want to seek out our eternal benefit. If one can understand they're not this body, which is their first instruction of the Gita, then the next logical step would be like, well then, if I'm the spirit soul, what's the duty of the soul? And eventually we'll come to the conclusion that the duty of the soul is service. Service to who? Service to God. And then we'll naturally make that a central focus of our life. But yeah, so someone can either have an opulent life or a miserable life, and both of those people can serve the Lord. Doesn't matter what you give to Krishna, materially speaking. I can give $100, and you can give Krishna $10, but it depends on the love and the devotion there. That's what's judged. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like some things. Does that answer your question? Larry, do you have anything? Okay. Does the Matajis have anything? Well, alrighty. Shh. Should I do announcements? Okay. Is there anything to announce? I guess there's prasadam downstairs. Everybody will not miss that. And so we have classes every day. Everybody knows. Nobody comes. This is the problem. But please, I don't know. Larry, you definitely can come. You're like 15 minutes away.
And next month we have a big event.
Huh?
Next month we have big event. 8, 9.
Definitely we're having a big event. So let's, hold on. This everyone's got to come. Everyone's got to pull up, for sure. No doubt about it. Not one day, not 2 hours. Need all 3 days out of y'all. Okay, does anybody want to take a picture if you don't have this? The Matajis didn't give it to you? No? Oh. We're not doing our part then. It's like, okay. All right, so, yeah, it's going to be awesome. our spiritual masters here in town is going to be giving classes. They're really fired up. We're going to be having fired up kirtan. And then the other 100 devotees in America are going to be coming here. First class prashadam. Then we'll be going out and performing Sankirtan in the streets. It's really amazing experience for those who haven't got it. I'll be right here at home, Christian Life Temple. So that's May 9th and 11th. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Bring your friends, family. It's a free event. What else is there? So we have class every day, 8 to 9 a.m. Special class every Tuesday. Special class means special feast. So don't have to worry about cooking breakfast when you ever come here. Is there anything else? What is there? Try to chant 16 rounds a day, 2 hours a day. Listen to lectures when you're driving, whatever, cooking. Definitely kirtan when you're driving. Larry loves kirtan. Yeah, we can chant japa. Everybody knows how to chant jap here? Yeah? Okay. All right. So how much, should I just do a half round? 5 minutes? Okay. Okay. Everybody knows how to chant? All right. Everybody got beads with them? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last one, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so I guess everyone should know the purpose of the mantra. It's a prayer, it's a call for service. So the prayer worked. If you guys are ready, service is ready for you guys today. You can after prasadam, of course, you can help clean up here, put the cushions away, the chairs. Just ask anybody if you need something to do. We'll give you something to do. The prayers are working, so... Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sundarbhya Chapatita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.